Hi, I'm Celeste and welcome to Find Your Purple. Today is day 19 of my 40 days of reflection. And one of the things that kind of caught my eye in the Bible, the first time I read through it, was manna. Now that's the bread from heaven that God sent down while the Israelites were in the desert. And I remember hearing the term manna from heaven, and I knew that it was some food God sent down from heaven, but I guess I never believed it. Again, I kind of thought the Bible was just a bunch of stories, not really true life, that anyone really lived that way. For some reason, that didn't register with me until just this past year or so. But when you think about it, I mean, it says in the Bible in Exodus and that the Israelites were complaining and feeling they should be left back in Egypt and all of that. And God probably was getting sick of their grumbling already, but he said he would feed them. So he was going to send a manna from heaven, and he wanted to see if they would follow his instructions. And the instructions were simple. They would get up in the morning, they would get the manna, pick it, enough for everyone to have food that day, no more, and then the next day it would come again and they would start over. However, on the day before Sabbath, they should collect enough for 2 days because they were not allowed to pick manna on Sabbath. So he told them only 1 day, and still people got worried about having enough food, so they would collect too much, and the next morning, sure enough, it would have maggots in it and be spoiled. Yet on the day they would collect enough for 2 days, in that case, it wasn't. It was perfectly fine for the second day. So he was again testing them, and in the prayer, Our Father, you talk about your daily bread. He was talking about the daily manna. You couldn't have enough for a week, you couldn't have enough for a month, you only could get the 1 day, and you had to trust God fully for the next day's supply. And you trust God fully for the next day. And that's what they had. Now they did get the quail, which was another surprise to me, that for some period of time, God gave them the quail to answer their grumblings. And the whole journey in the desert, and when he would lead them by clouds in the day and fire by night, and all the different times that Moses went up the mountain to talk to him, and people even heard God's voice, and all the miracles that happened during that time frame, you'd think they would believe in God more than anybody. And yet, over time, they would fall back into their old ways. So I just thought I would mention manna. In case you ever wonder about it, you can Google it and see that God did provide for them. I guess they say there was people's shoes didn't wear out during that 40 years. Their clothes didn't wear out. I guess they didn't get sunburned. So it's just God was their total provision for that period of time. And that's pretty amazing when you think about it. So, I don't know, I just think there's something cool about the idea that God gave them manna every day to provide their sustenance. So he is a pretty amazing God. As always, grab your cup of tea, sit back, and let's start sharing. Until next time, bye-bye.